wow, so much is going on out there astrologically, energetically. I think we're all feeling it. And so I had to hop on here tonight and just kind of give you a brief update about what's coming, what are we currently dealing with, what are the energetic planetary movements that might be affecting our path, our purpose, the things that we're involved in, the things that we're engaged in. So right now, currently, Venus, the planet of love, Venus, I call the planet of the billionaire because Venus represents value. It represents money. It represents everything beautiful. Venus, of course, is related to the goddess of love, right? The goddess of love is often connected to our feelings of love, both the love that we have for ourselves and the love that we feel romantically, or the love that we have for things in our life, like beautiful jewelry or clothing or expensive things that we like to buy. So Venus can also relate to things that we like to purchase or buy. So Venus really relates to everything material, from our clothing to jewelry to even our gardens. It's related to the physical domain of things as well as to love, very interestingly, because Venus rules the sign Taurus, and Taurus is a very grounded, very practical, very earthy sign. And so with Venus going direct today, it means that everything that we are dealing with related to love, related to finances, related to self-love, self-value, and beautiful things, right? Owning things, buying things, purchasing things, and even receiving money, because Venus is the planet of the billionaire. With Venus going direct, there's going to be some shifts in the energy. Now, it takes a moment for a planet that has slowed down to shift back into a higher speed. And so essentially what's happening is that there's this pause. And when a planet goes retrograde and when a planet goes direct are the two most intense moments. Okay, so we're in kind of this wiggle-woggy energy as Venus stations direct, and then we'll begin to catch up to the speed of the Earth, and that is forward. Now, there is something called a retrograde shadow period, which is really important to talk about because sometimes we think, okay, the retrograde period is over. Let's go out and buy some stuff. Let's celebrate. Let's expect more money to come in. But the shadow period is really a time where the planet's energies are readjusting. And so retrograde, what is retrograde? Everyone's like hearing it like crazy right now, right? Because we have 7 planets that are retrograde. Of course, Venus just went direct, so that's kind of exciting, something to celebrate. But Venus going direct means that things can begin to move forwards. The shadow period is probably going to last a week to 2 weeks. So just kind of allow yourself a buffer period to allow those energies to start to move forwards, right? Maybe you will start to receive more money. Maybe there'll be some movement in your finances. Of course, retrograde planets affect everyone differently. And so it's really exciting and really fun to actually have your chart read to see how the astrological bodies are affecting you personally, because everyone's chart is totally unique, just like we all have a unique fingerprint. And just like snowflakes, there are no two that are the same. Every single person's astrological chart is completely unique, completely special, completely spectacular. And so reading the chart is what allows us to really pinpoint what's going on and allow you to have greater ease with knowing where in my life, because your chart is divided into 12 slices of pie or 12 sections, and each section relates to an arena of your life. So one of those arenas is finances, one is health and fitness, one is relationships, identity, travel, romance, right? So if you're trying to figure out what area of my life are these retrograde planets affecting me, please reach out. I would love to assist you with the reading to see how all of this energy is affecting you personally. There's so much of it. It's a really great time to kind of tap in and see what's being brought up for me, right? So Venus going retrograde, the last several months, we've been in Venus retrograde. Retrograde relates to everything that starts with the RE word: redo, reassess, relearn, reactivate, reassess, revision, recreate, remake. So RE really stands for redo, right? Reassess. It is a great time to look through old boxes of stuff, get rid of stuff, clean, organize. It's a time when old stuff is just being brought up to be resolved. Resolved, that's such a huge word with retrograde. Because what is it in our lives, in our bodies, in our emotions, in our history that hasn't been resolved? And so that means that things from the past, people, relationships, encounters, thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, old stuff, old places we've lived, old colleagues might be coming up and have maybe started to come up since we went into the 7-planet retrograde period, where you're like, oh my gosh, so much is happening right now. So much is coming up. How do I move forwards? And with 7 planets retrograde, so much retrograde energy, the best way to move forwards is to let go of that which is holding you back, letting go of the old stuff, letting go of the old paradigms, letting go of the old energies that have been holding you back, okay? And so we have 7 planets retrograde starting tomorrow, because as Venus goes direct, Jupiter is the planet of the teacher. It's the planet of the guru. It's the planet of higher learning, travel, far foreign travel. It's the planet of expansion. I love Jupiter. I often think of Jupiter as the cosmic Santa Claus, who is super benevolent, super giving, loves to give blessings, loves to shower goodness, right? They're the quintessential benefactor. So Jupiter going retrograde is a time where things related to our past history, around our training, our higher knowledge, our teachers, our gurus, our guides will be coming up. Of course, based on what sign Jupiter retrograde is. So Jupiter is currently in the very end of Pisces. Very end of Pisces. It was just with the moon last night. I actually get to witness it outside, camping outside overnight. And wow, it was powerful. The moon and Jupiter were lined up. And that's actually a really powerful story that I actually got to learn last night about Vedic astrology. Has a story of the relationship of the moon and Jupiter. It's a very interesting story because they came together last night. So in this story, the moon falls in love with Jupiter's wife. So Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, has a wife in this mythology. And the moon is a masculine being in this story and falls in love with the wife of Jupiter, because Jupiter is very busy. Jupiter is always out teaching and training and guiding the good guys to do good things. And so his wife at home starts to feel neglected and ignored, like he never has time for her. And so she is actually kind of interested in the moon's advances, and she goes with the moon. And of course, Jupiter's so busy, he doesn't even notice that his wife has gone off with another god or planet, the moon. And they have their encounter. And Jupiter, of course, finally figures out what's going on, is super upset and demands, return my wife to me. And of course, the moon says, well, she came willingly. And so the moon and Jupiter is pretty upset, has to decide whether he's going to fight Jupiter, right? Have a battle, have a war. And so they decide to work it out. Eventually, Jupiter's wife comes home, but she has a baby. She has an absolutely beautiful baby. And so there's this huge battle between Jupiter and the moon around who the parent of the baby is. And so eventually, of course, this is in the Vedic mythology. This is from India. The baby talks really fast, right? She has the baby and immediately it's beautiful baby, beautiful skin and eyes. And this baby suddenly starts to speak. And it tells the mom, only you can identify my true parent. And she says, well, that's true. She says, well, the moon is your father, but I am married to Jupiter. And so the planet that this baby is Mercury. And so I think that's fascinating because Mercury is actually retrograde right now. And last night, the moon and Jupiter were in this interesting dynamic. So have you been feeling tension? Have you been feeling like a little bit on edge? Maybe that's that old dynamic between the moon and Jupiter around the moon running off with Jupiter's wife. Of course, Jupiter's wife did return to him, and the Jupiter dad and the moon dad decided to work things out around the parentage of Mercury, and they co-raised him. So very interesting. And some people say that if you have a lot of Mercury in your chart or Gemini, that can mean that you have this dichotomy or challenge with your parentage around potentially having, more than one, right? Maybe having a lack of clarity around who your mother or your father is, or maybe having multiple mothers or fathers. It's a very, very interesting story. Really grateful to have learned it from a man who studies Vedic astrology very extensively. Vedic astrology is an ancient form of astrology from India. Very powerful, very interesting, very intricate. And all these stories about the planets and the signs that are just fascinating. And so I thought, wow, if Mercury was the child, right, that was begotten, and Mercury is retrograde, and Mercury retrograde relates to business deals, relates to communication, relates to traveling, relates to information and communication. One thing to keep in mind, some people say that during retrograde periods, you should never sign a contract. However, it all depends on your personal chart and where the planets are in your chart, right? So if you have Mercury retrograde in a house that is all about business and career, you might actually end up having this amazing deal go through that you decide to do because you know your astrology chart and you know how it's affecting you personally. And so as great as these videos are where I can give you updates on the astrology, what's even more helpful, more powerful, and more insightful is actually to do one-on sessions and readings with me to see where the planets in the sky are currently affecting you. And I think I might offer some kind of a special here if you want to have a update reading for your chart about how these 7 planets starting tomorrow, because Venus is gone direct now, but Jupiter goes retrograde tomorrow, the 7 planets might be affecting your astrological chart personally. Additionally, if you are someone who's having a lot of triggers coming up and stuff going on, I have an amazing opportunity for you. Tomorrow, I will be co-hosting day 2 of a 5-day challenge, and I'll leave the link below, where Michael Grady is leading us. He's amazingly talented at this incredible energy clearing tool to clear all these blocks, energetic blocks that might be coming up, triggers. It's amazing at clearing pain. It can clear allergies. It can clear toxins. I even helped someone release their dog had eaten poisonous mushrooms, and I assisted them in clearing that. So it is amazingly powerful. I will leave the link below. I highly recommend jumping on and joining us. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Just know we are in a tumultuous time. When there's so many planets retrograde, it literally means we have to deal with things that have been unresolved. And that can be our emotions, that can be our past, that can be so many things, energetically, individually, and collectively. And so I really want to recommend be patient with yourself. Take your time, give yourself as much time and space as you need to deal with whatever's coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to tune into the energies real quick of the collective. Okay, so feel that. There's a lot. Feel that, whatever's coming up, and then just take a deep breath in and out and rub your hands together. Feel it. Yeah, there's the collective energies. Feel it some more. Oh, yeah. All those collective energies, everything that brings up and lets down for you. Right? Creator of all that is, it is coming out all that absorbed, gunky, thick, sludgy energy, everything that moves up or lets down. Let's just destroy and uncreate it all, please. Right and wrong, good and bad. On, cough, all nine shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds, anywhere and everywhere you've picked up or absorbed or taken on anyone's stuff or negative thoughts or negative fields or negative broadcasts, everything that comes up from this lifetime or any other. Will you please revoke, recant, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate it all? Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyond. So if you feel that release, deep breath in and out. Creator of all that is, it's commanded a complete unconditional love healing for anyone and everyone who ever watches this clearing through all directions of time and space. Thank you, God. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show us, deep breath in and out. Creator of all that is, it is commanded a complete unconditional love healing for you all through all directions of time and space. Thank you, God. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show us, deep breath in and out. Good. If you have any questions, if you'd like to book a healing session or see how the astrological planets are affecting you personally, you can email me at blossomwithlotusnow@gmail.com. I'm excited, I'm passionate, and I love to assist you all. I love how Zoom is so weird sometimes. I send you my love and aloha. Have a great night, y'all.